I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you I've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me, no. We're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all, we should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back, starting from scratch. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not, because I still believe. You're my gravity. You will never be what I expected. Different frequencies, that's why we ain't connected. You know I will make it through, I got nothing to lose but you. It's true you're so far away, and it's true I can feel the same. It's another day, you know you want me to stay, but I go my way. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not, because I still believe. You're my gravity. You're my gravity. You're calling out my name, but the echo numbs your pain. Sorry, but more than just a shadow, I'm more than just a man. You don't care how I feel, you don't know how I feel. No, you don't know how. I wash away the sorrow till my heart can beat again. You're my gravity. No, you're my gravity. I will let you go, the only thing that I know. You were my gravity, but now I have to leave. I will let you go. Why do you feel that I want? What do you think that I want? I know how to breathe into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity, into my gravity. I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you I've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me, no. We're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all, we should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back, starting from scratch. I won't let you go, no I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go, no baby I will not.
Warning. The Duracell Cup Series data file you have attempted to access is out of date. Uploading current file now.
It's a brand new car from stem to stern, and it's never been raced at these speeds.
The next gen car is opportunity.
Everything is different with the exception of like the seat, the steering wheel, and your helmet.
Unknown creates excitement.
Talking about my generation.
And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here to Hillside, as it will play host to our 30th race weekend of Season 7 of the NNSCRA Next Gen Cup Series. Playoff race number 4, the first race of the round of 12. That's right, coming off the heels of Nashville Superspeedway last week, where we went from 17 playoff contenders down to 12 playoff contenders. At the end of this 3-race segment, we will be down to our Elite 8, and it begins here at the high-banked mile racetrack. Hillside has been on the schedule for season after season after season. Its unique exit off of pit road to entrance off of pit road intersection, the strategy we see of not necessarily starting at the front means you're going to finish at the front. It's almost kind of, in a way, a 1-mile super speedway with what we have seen in the past, and looking forward to seeing how it's going to play its part here in the round of 12. We've got a mile racetrack, then a road course, and a 1.5 miles for this round. Next week, Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, and then Arizona Speedway to cap off this second round of the playoffs. There's a couple of former champions right there. Chris Dollerton and Charles Sanford out onto the track. 42 drivers qualifying here this week, so it will be the expedited qualifying session here today. All 42 cars out on the racetrack for 15 minutes. Top 10 speeds at the conclusion. We'll move on to run for the pole in the second and final round of qualifying. As mentioned, 12 drivers moving on here into this next round of the playoffs. 5 drivers, since we had 17 drivers that qualified for the playoffs at the conclusion of Auto Club, got eliminated last week. So you will see the drivers that are still in the playoffs, like Connor Breton right there in the 88, still with the Duracell copper spoiler splitter and driver banner. The 5 drivers that were eliminated, they are back to the normal contigs. Matthew Rodriguez right there in the 24. He and last week's winner, Rob Evans, the only 2 drivers that come into this round with bonus points. Rodriguez with winning at Gateway and Evans with winning at Nashville Superspeedway racked up 5 points each, so they are tied for the number 1 seed coming into this one. Everybody else sits at 2,000 points with the way that the standings were reformatted. Because of that, it ended up with all of those other 10 drivers being in a tie. Oh, we had a wreck up here. Oh, we got a lot of cars that have wrecked here. Casey Hoyt, James Qualls, Mitchell Collins, Nathan Orman, more drivers. Matt McIntyre, Rob Evans, last week's winner. We got to get these cars off the middle of the track. Oh, gracious. That's going to kind of hinder the qualifying session a bit here. Remember, though, any incident we have here under this first round, drivers that have locked themselves into the Fast 10, they are going to still get to run for the pole. They'll probably have to use a backup car, but it doesn't penalize them to start at the rear of the field for tomorrow afternoon's race. And it looks like we have, right now, by quick eyeball, 2 playoff contenders currently up inside the top 10. We're still wrecking over here. Ryan Brommer, Dylan Pote, Jesse Turner, who's 8th on the board right now. One of the 2 playoff drivers currently scored inside the top 10. Jessica Schulten is the other. Wonder what this is going to mean for potentially for tomorrow's race. Are we in for a wreck fest, or could that just be the case of what I was talking about with how you come off of turn 2 right here? You come off of, or actually it's off of turn 4 rather, to complete your pit stop, and you come into pit road in turn 1. So you got drivers that are crossing different paths. I don't know. I don't know if that's what's causing these incidents, or if it's something a little bit more untoward that we'll see tomorrow afternoon. But we're looking right now at Ryan Butcher, who by far had the best first round of the playoffs without going to victory lane. He was up at the top of the point standings. He had about a 25-point cushion going into last week's finale of the first round, and had another great points day. Had the best average finish of the entire round, as Poteet's finally going to get that machine back to pit road. Jesse Turner doing the same after he had a solid top 5 run last week at Nashville. So the 5 drivers that got eliminated, a couple of them right here in this shot. The 11 of Will Goss, 2-time winner on the season, and his team owner Dylan Young. The other 3 that were eliminated were former champion Caleb Fogler, 3-time winner James Qualls, and another driver out of the Young Motorsports stables, Destin Bolin. So those drivers, unfortunately, their championship hopes, they came to an end last week. They'll be looking to finish out the season as strong as they can, though, with checkered flags, or at least finish the highest up they can in the point standings of those 5 eliminated drivers. So they'll all be vying for 13th in the final season standings. Dylan Young right now is 3rd on the board. Jessica Schulten has jumped up to 5th. Schulten, the only hope right now for S3 Motorsports to make their way into a three-peat for the championship as an organization. Shelton last week, in my opinion, had the best execution of pit strategy. Pit road was a major point in the green flag from start to finish race we had at Nashville Superspeedway. So execution on pit road was key, and every time that we would check after everything cycled around, Jessica Shelton, that 94 team, continually picked up spots, and she eventually finished out the night inside of the top 10. And she was below the cut line going into that race, and was able to, I believe it was about 7th or 8th by the end of the night in overall standings, so easily advanced into this next round. We showed Dylan Poteet coming to pit road with the engine damage there, as they're going to try and probably bring out the backup car, send him back out there. Jesse Turner now coming out as well. We know he had damage. But looking at Carson Gum, we've obviously talked about the whole thing that's going on with Fortnite Squad Racing in regards to the fact that they've had the break off with the Mazdas. The Mazdas are going to be in their own separate team with the Fortnite Squad Racing Technical Alliance, but Garage 55 will be fielding Gunther and McCrory's rides for next season. There's also some rumor going around that potentially Fortnite Squad Racing will be moving from Camaros over to Toyotas. So we would more than likely see Carson Gum and Dylan Poteet, who have announced they are returning to the team next year, maybe in Camrys, the new Toyota Camrys next season, which could be very important in regards to teams like Haas Racing and Auto Junction Racing, who are at a bit of a disadvantage when we go, especially to the super speedways. Usually we only have about 5 or 6 Toyotas that are in the field able to work together. That's another 2 drivers, or another 2 teams that would be added to the list of Camrys for next year that they'd all be able to work together. Another announcement also made this past week. Reggie Fogelman, this was slated to be his final race with the 80 team in preparation for his upcoming full-time season with Haas Racing in the number 5 car. They have extended that. Reggie Fogelman will run out the remainder of the season in this number 80 machine. So Matthew Rodriguez, at least up until he is eliminated from the playoffs, he'll still be over in the 24 for Northeast Motorsports. If he gets eliminated, though, we might see a new name hop into the 24 Chevrolet for the remaining races on the schedule. But for now, Matthew Rodriguez very much so still in the conversation for this championship, as is Zach Rogers. Rogers currently coming into this race tied for the second seed. Had a great run last week, led the most laps at the Nashville Superspeedway. Brought it home inside of, I believe it was just outside of the top 10, around the 11th, 12th position, but racked up enough points that he was above the cut line and advancing into this round of 12. It's in a pretty big pack of cars right here that are 3 wide. Zachary Fitzwater up there in the top, another playoff contender right in the middle of this, and Ryan Butcher. There's Jessica Shelton. She's actually just gotten knocked out of the Fast 10, down to 11th at a 20.574. Trying to find the driver that bested her to advance into the top 10. And I believe that would be Ryan Brommer at a 20.553 right now, right behind her. Brommer holding on to that final transfer spot to run for the pole position. Nathan Ormond just up ahead right now in 9th. Ormond had a great run last week at Nashville Superspeedway. Maybe finally starting to hit his stride in preparation for returning to this 23 for Michael Norman Motorsports next year. Former winner on the season at Watkins Glen. Ooh, this is interesting. Austin LaPlante last week was maybe the biggest driver on pins and needles. He came into that Nashville Superspeedway race the 12th driver in points. That was the cut line area, and he finished out the night in the 12th position, still the cut line driver. So narrowly made it in by the skin of his teeth. Right now, though, he's in the 42nd position, last on the speed charts. As we got a spin up ahead, that's Jesse Turner. Well, it's not been a good afternoon here for Jesse Turner. It's at least the second incident he's been involved in. Looks like Charles Sanford was also in it. Whatever the thing was. Oh, contact there for Will Goss. That puts him up into the wall. Turner right now is 22nd on the speed charts. Again, though, it's not about where you start, it's where you finish, especially here at Hillside. Trying to find and see, that feels like there's a couple more playoff contenders we haven't talked about. There's last week's winner, Evans. He's 6th on the board right now, getting his first career win last week at Nashville Superspeedway. Dominating performance in the closing stages, had to hold off a hard-charging Reese Banks. But finally breaking into victory lane. Now all 3 of the Evans Motorsports cars have gone to victory lane this season, and looking to advance into the Fast 10 here in the next, well, a little over 3.5 minutes. Dylan Poteet now back out on the racetrack after we saw him all torn up. This is obviously a backup car. He's 39th on the board right now, though. Poteet just barely making it into the round of 12. Keith Batson finished the worst of the playoff contenders last week at Nashville, but he had done pretty well in the first 2 races of the first round at Gateway and Chatham Dirt, that he was able to have enough of a cushion that bad performance still kept him above the cut line. Right now he's 36th on the board, and there's last week's runner-up finisher, Reese Banks. Reese Banks had a very interesting first round where he was the lowest finisher of the playoff drivers at Gateway. He then got involved in the first wreck at Chatham Dirt, got into the tire barriers, somehow was able to battle back for a top 20, and then last week silenced the doubters as if he was maybe a one-hit wonder and was going to be an early elimination in the playoffs. Got that runner-up finish, almost pulled off the victory against Rob Evans, and advances into this round of 12. All 3 of the Lake Effect Auto Sports cars, as a matter of fact, advancing into the round of 12. Ironically, all 3 of the Young Motorsports Fords got eliminated. Right now, 29th on the board for Reese Banks. Connor Breton. Right now, 33rd on the board. Right above him is Matthew Rodriguez, who is 16th. Neither one of these drivers currently in line to move on to the next round of qualifying. Fastest driver on the racetrack right now is actually the 77 of Laura Chung. Let's see if we can find her. There she is. 20.285, the lap time that she has put down in this session. That is about 4/100ths faster than the driver right next to her, Jose Mills, who sits 2nd on the board. Benjamin Miles is 3rd, Michael Norman 4th, and Joshua Osborne in 5th. Anthony McCrory right now currently sits in 6th. Top 6 fastest speeds all non-playoff contenders. Highest playoff contender right now on the board is Ryan Butcher in 7th, with Rob Evans right behind him in 8th, and then Destin Bolin, Reggie Fogelman, a couple of non-playoff drivers now completing the top 10. Zach Rogers currently sits in 11th. Matthew Rodriguez 16th. Jessica Shelton is 23rd, and I think she actually just picked up some spots there. Shelton just jumped up to 20th. Jesse Turner is 24th. Casey Hoyt 26th. Reese Banks is 30th. Keith Batson 32nd. Connor Breton 35th. Austin LaPlante 37th. And Dylan Pote right now is the slowest of the playoff contenders. He is in the 40th position as things currently stand. Laura Chung just got topped. Somebody just went up to the top of the board, beating her 285. We're waiting for scoring to show us exactly who that was. It was Anthony McCrory. 20.276. He just ran that. So McCrory's Mazda at the top of the speed charts right now. And I gotta say, from what I've seen out of Nick Gunther and Anthony McCrory here, since the playoffs have basically begun, you saw Gunther get that victory at Auto Club. I'm really thinking that this Mazda team might be a force to be reckoned with in Season 8. Anthony has seemed to be able to find his stride. Nick Gunther's finally starting to get his mojo back. I think these are drivers you got to keep an eye on next year. We've seen at least one Mazda, sometimes both Mazdas up inside of the Fast 10 in qualifying here these last couple of weeks also. As zeros on the clock. And it looks like Ryan Butcher jumped up to 5th. Jessica Shelton jumped up to 12th, but she's just on the outside looking in. It looks like only 2 playoff drivers right now are scheduled to make it into this final round of qualifying as session is concluded, and it will be the Celsius Mazda of Anthony McCrory, who will be the fastest here in round 1. He will advance into the Fast 10 along with Laura Chung, Jose Mills, Nathan Ormond. Ryan Butcher going to be 5th. Then Benjamin Miles, Michael Norman, Joshua Osborne, Rob Evans, after his victory last week, will be the second playoff driver to advance. And Dustin Bolin, former playoff contender, is going to complete the top 10. You'll have a couple of playoff contenders that will be just outside of the top 10, completing row 6 tomorrow afternoon in Zach Rogers and Jessica Shelton. But Butcher and Evans, the only 2 of the playoff drivers advancing into the next round. And some names up here that are still looking for their first victory of the season. In the case of McCrory, looking for his first win of his career. So there could be some very interesting storylines to follow up on tomorrow afternoon, but we still got to settle out who is going to be the pole sitter here at Hillside. We're going to have our Fast 10 heading out to the track in just a moment, right after this quick race break. Let's quickly show you down the rest of the speed charts here. Forgot to do that. Charles Sanford, Caleb Fogler, a couple of former champions, going to make the final row up tomorrow afternoon. Now look at these playoff drivers down here. Batson, Breton, LaPlante, Poteet. They're going to have a lot of work to do tomorrow. As I mentioned, it's a track where you can gain track position. It's not really all about where you start when it comes to Hillside, but at the same time, you also don't want to be back in the eye of the storm if trouble breaks out, because there's not a whole lot of exit venues at this very short track. But now let's head over to our Fast 10 for qualifying, find out who captures the pole position in just a moment. Thank you for tuning in to today's broadcast on NNSCRA TV. If you enjoyed your watching, it would help us out a lot if you'd hit that like button. Also, if you're not already, be sure to subscribe to become a part of the NNSCRA crew today. And if you're on your phone, be sure to click that bell to be notified whenever we have a broadcast here on NNSCRA TV. Once again, we thank you for your support, and we hope you continue to enjoy today's broadcast. Getting ready for our final round of qualifying here. 10 drivers vying for the pole position. As I go down the list here for Rob Evans, he's looking for his 3rd pole of the season. For Ryan Butcher, he is also looking for his 3rd pole on the year. Dustin Boland's looking for his 1st. Michael Norman looking for his 2nd. Jose Mills is looking for his 2nd. Anthony McCurry is looking for his second. As looks like Ryan Butcher going to be the first one off here, along with Joshua Osborne. Osborne is looking for his second of the season. And then Laura Chung's looking for her second. Benjamin Miles looking for his first. And I believe that is the 10 drivers there. I don't believe I missed anybody. So looks like for the most part, a bunch of drivers looking for their second, a few drivers looking for their first, and then 2 drivers, Rob Evans and Ryan Butcher, looking for their third. Well, the big thing for Ryan Butcher that helped him in that first round of the playoffs was his ability to qualify well and have good starting track position. We'll see if that trend continues here at Hillside. Might have gotten a little bit of a tow there off the back of Destin Bolin, but now we're having to race side by side with him. May slow him up just a tad. It's like a 22.004, going to be his official lap time there, and it was easily beaten by Joshua Osborne. Well, I can't say easily, 3 1,000ths, 041 for Joshua Osborne. Osborne still looking for that first win on the season here. 1 career win last year, and his first full-time season with Joanna Atwood Motorsports at Pocono. And as drivers clock in their lap times, looks like it'll be Dustin Bolin to the top of the board, getting a nice draft off of Ryan Butcher, 21.646 for the Kellogg's Ford Mustang out of Young Motorsports. Of course, Dustin Bolin still looking for that first win this year after having 3 victories as a rookie last year. Second time he's been in the playoffs, but this year got eliminated in the first round just last week. So looking for a little redemption here this week at Hillside. And somebody else has jumped to the top of the board. Oh, it was Ryan Butcher, who was leading this little 2-car tandem, 21.458. And he just bettered that to a 3.67, but Dustin Bolin went to a 3.76 for Ryan Butcher. 3 thousandths better at a 3.73 for Dustin Bolin. So Bolin is back to the top of the board. Dustin Bolin was the slowest of the Fast 10 coming into this round, clocking in at 10th place, and with losing Ryan Butcher right there, he is not going to improve his lap time. This could be a tandem with a little under 2 minutes to go that might be able to have something for Dustin Bolin's pole position. Benjamin Miles in the draft of Michael Norman. He's got to get into the 3s, and right now he's just breaking into the 5s. 21.567 puts him to 4th. A 5.71 puts Michael Norman at 5th. Laura Chung, currently second fastest in round 1, is third fastest here in round 2 at a 21.437, and a 3.17 now puts her to the top of the scoring pile-on. Getting a nice tow off of both the Ford of Jose Mills and the Mazda of Anthony McCurry. McCurry kind of the meat in the sandwich there, is 7th on the board at a 21.563 after being the fastest in round 1. Ooh, but he's going to move to the back of this 3-car pack. Let's see if he's got something for the pole here. Car just ahead of him is who he has to beat, who just improved to a 3.07, did Laura Chung. So Anthony's going to have to get a 3.06 or better, and time's running out too. He's only going to have this lap and maybe one more to do something. Jumps to 5th on the board, 21.459. No improvement for Laura Chung. Right now, Chung and Bolin the front row as things are currently scored. Let's see if Anthony's got anything here. Can he run a 21.2? I feel like he's too close to the back bumper of these drivers to be able to do that, but we'll see. No improvement. It was actually 200 slower. That may be all she wrote. Laura Chung may have just captured her second pole on the season, clocking in at a 3.07 in the 21-second bracket. Anthony just jumped up to second place, 3.44. So it looks like this will be the front row. I don't think he's going to have another lap that they'll score him. And even if he did, I don't know with how close he is to the back of the 77, how he'd be able to improve another 3.5 100ths. Yep, they're not scoring them any longer. So Anthony brought out the lap at the very last second to get the outside of the front row, but it will be a 21.307 for Laura Chung. That will have her leading us to the green for the second time this season. As there you see, session is complete, and the top 10 are locked in. It'll be a Toyota and a Mazda that will lead us to green tomorrow afternoon. Laura Chung's Auto Junction Racing Toyota Camry, and Anthony McCrory's Fortnite Squad Racing Mazda MX-5 are going to be your front row. Look at the difference there, though, with the lap time. It doesn't seem like much, but when you consider, as I said, this is basically a 1 mile super speedway, so it comes down to literally thousandths of a second, and to have almost 400ths of a second gap there for Chung to McCrory, that is a huge, huge margin. Jose Mills and Destin Boland, their Fords will share row number 2. Ryan Butcher's going to be the highest starting playoff driver tomorrow afternoon, as he'll be 5th, alongside of Benjamin Miles in row 3. Michael Norman, Nathan Norman, a couple of teammates are going to share row 4, and then Joshua Osborne and last week's winner, Rob Evans, are going to complete the top 10. Butcher and Evans will have the advantage in good starting track position, though remember, Zach Rogers, Jessica Shelton will be rolling off 11th and 12th, so we'll have a quartet of drivers up inside of the top 12 for our playoff drivers tomorrow. But it will be interesting to see how it all plays out. Hillside has always been a bit of a wild card factor track. It takes no prisoners when it comes to playoff and non-playoff drivers, and cannot wait to see what it brings to the table tomorrow afternoon here for the opening race of our round of 12. But hope you guys will tune in for that. No lights race this weekend, just the Cup drivers. We're not going to see the lights race drivers for another 3 weeks or so. So it will just be Cup drivers here for the next 2 or 3 weekends, and cannot wait to see what happens as we begin this round of 12 tomorrow afternoon. If you guys enjoyed this qualifying session, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe, and part of the crew today, and we'll see you guys tomorrow afternoon here from Hillside as we get ready for our 30th race of the season. Until then, I've been Seth Cole, and you've been watching another broadcast courtesy of NNSCRA TV, offline racing at its best.